And we say greetings, this is Kabanka Pyramid representing the Lion Voice blog. Make sure that them check it out and stay tuned. See? Rastafari blessings every time.
I'm Nana Farika. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice.
The question that we're asking is this something to be adopted by the wider Rastafari family? And my answer is it's personal because, you know, Rastafari, as we all say, is not a religion. You know, it's a way of life. The way of life encompasses the 7 principles. So if you want to incorporate Kwanzaa to highlight these principles, then of course, as a personal brethren, and as I said, each of these principles we can find His Majesty teaching that goes around them. So there's nothing in opposition with Kwanzaa as expressed. Now, Ran Karenga, separate thing altogether, but as many ones say, most of the holidays, you know, we don't know who established them, and if we look at their personal and private life and what they were up to, you know what I mean, it's gonna make you pause for a lot of ones. So for I and I think it's a personal choice, and most of the ones I see who celebrate Kwanzaa, and I don't celebrate in my gates, you're not going to find a menorah. I'm not a religious Ras. Yes, you hear I defend Haile Selassie, the Bible, these things through the teachings of His Majesty. That's really where my things rest personally. But again, the question is, do Rastafari celebrate Kwanzaa? And I'm answering that answer is a personal answer.
Well, Lion Voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion Voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion Voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion Voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion Voice. Yeah, go up on North Road. Haile Selassie the first. Children. Well, you're gonna do 2 things when you hear this song. You either gonna move or you gonna leave. You have to move. Either way you gonna bounce or you have to rest. You have to bounce. I tell them bounce, I tell them bounce, tell them bounce. Can't buy my soul for no bank account. I tell them bounce, I tell them bounce, tell them bounce. Blessings where we got too much they can't count. Would you sell your people poison to make a dime? If you knew that they were dying, would you change your mind? Would you embrace crime? Would you risk life in a cage? Or would you even care as long as you got paid? You never been a slave, still you slave for the cash. If the price was right, you would have sell your ass. Far as I can see, you don't know your past. You just a follow dirty Babylon till Babylon crash. Tell them bounce, I tell them bounce, tell them bounce. Can't buy my soul for no bank account. I tell them bounce, I tell them bounce.
What do you have to tell the people about Ras Tafari?
Light to the world. King of kings and the conquering line of the tribe of Judah. I like himself. Where's right for ruler? Hey yo, yeah. Hail them high, hail the black king on the 23rd of July. So tell them guy who praise God up in the sky, it's a lie. The Almighty living on your night. From ancient time them a try. Them Romans know them just open them suit and ties. Criminals ain't got no alibi, they stole my people. Then them comes without them genocide.
Are you talking about slavery?
Them couldn't kill the lion way come conquer Judah tribe.
Who?
Go through tribulation, and I strive, see sufferation, and I still rise. That's why we tell them in America, live Rastafari in every ghetto area. We come to tell them in a Toronto, straight at
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of His chosen Queen, Empress Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka the Dejazmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man, creative industry attorney. I'm an artist, I'm an author, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of the Lion's Voice. Welcome to the Lion's Voice, and welcome to the Lion's Voice Network, where the lions are telling our own story. Today's episode, we will be talking about Kwanzaa. We are in the Kwanzaa season. I told my youth performed in a Kwanzaa presentation from their school. But I wanted to take time and just examine what is Kwanzaa. Do Rastafari celebrate Kwanzaa? Should we be celebrating Kwanzaa? How Kwanzaa fit into the whole picture in terms of the building of Zion, everything that we're doing here. I thought it's a very fascinating topic. Many people don't know about the controversial origins of Kwanzaa and why you have many in the Pan-African community in America who don't deal with Kwanzaa. And then you have many more who do. So we're going to look at all of that today in today's episode as we examine Rastafari and Kwanzaa. All right, so first and foremost, what is Kwanzaa? We'll give the official history, and then we'll talk about the controversy, because there is a lot of controversy with the origins based on the person who created the holiday. So what is the history of Kwanzaa? Kwanzaa was created in 1966 by Ron Karinga, also known as Malana Karinga. We call him Ron Karinga, an African American scholar and activist. Kwanzaa was developed as a way to celebrate African American culture and history, particularly in the aftermath of the Watts riots. He provided alternative to the existing holiday of Christmas, which he felt was primarily a commercialized celebration with little relevance to the African American experience. And we'll talk about the tribal war that was happening at that time between Ron Karinga, the Black Panther Party. He had an organization called US, and there was the Black Panther Party. There are allegations that he was co-opted. There are allegations against him of physical abuse against black women. He was convicted. He denies the allegations. There's a lot of mix-up, as you know. The COINTELPRO, this was in the heart of it. So this brother is a compromised brother. Either way, any way you look at it, you know, historically, he was compromised. Now, the thing that he created, the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles, we have to make it clear that this brother did not create any of these principles. These are existing throughout the African continent, irrespective of culture, religion, and this is why they resonate, and why, even though the brother, you know, by all means appears to be compromised, the principles are solid. And the principles are Umoja, Kujichagulia, Ujima, Ujama, Nia, Kaumba, Imani. Umoja is unity, Kujichagulia is self-determination, Ujima is collective work and responsibility, Ujama, cooperative economics, Nia, purpose, Kaumba, creativity, Imani, faith. As Rastafari, all of these principles is part of our liberty, and We can prove it through the teachings of His Imperial Majesty who speak on each of these topics. We can cite some quotes a little bit further down. Also, he brought in the Kinara, which is a candle holder with 7 candles, 1 black, 3 red, and 3 green. Is used to symbolize the principles. Mazor, crops, fruits, vegetables, and other crops are displayed to represent the harvest and abundance. And Kwanzaa means first fruits of the harvest. Karuma, a communal feast that's held on the 6th day of Kwanzaa. And the significance is that Kwanzaa has become a cultural celebration for many African Americans. It provides opportunity to reflect on African heritage, strengthen family bonds, and promote community values. And then again, as I said, there are a multiplicity. I'd have to do a whole episode on the origins of Ran Karinga. You know what I mean? So that is the history of Kwanzaa. It is primarily an African American celebrated occasion. It happens during the holidays. I don't know too many ones who take off this time as a holiday, the full 7 days, but it happens during holidays, so most people are on holidays. I live in Washington, D.C., DMV, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, which is probably one of the most active spaces, as you know, in regards to Kwanzaa activity. This is when the Pan-African community come out in their numbers, gather. UNIA, you know, the Asset Society, that's the Kemet man, them, the, you know, Igbo Israelite, the this, the that. You know, you're gonna see a piece of everybody come together. The Nation of Islam, the you know, we have different organizations in Kobia. We have different organizations that are active here that, you know, will come together. My children go to a Pan-African school. The Pan-African schools do programming around Kwanzaa and the 7 principles. So, you know, as a RAS in this environment, we are, you know, we're not going to fight against the 7 principles, you know. Now, the question that we're asking is this something to be adopted by the wider Rastafari family? And my answer is it's personal, because, you know, Rastafari, as we all say, is not a religion. You know, it's a way of life. The way of life encompasses the 7 principles. So if you want to incorporate Kwanzaa to highlight these principles, then of course, as a personal brethren, and as I said, each of these principles we can find His Majesty teaching that goes around them. So there's nothing in opposition with Kwanzaa as expressed. Now, Ran Karenga, separate thing altogether, but as many ones say, most of the holidays, you know, we don't know who established them, and if we look at their personal and private life and what they were up to, you know what I mean, it's going to make you pause for a lot of ones. So for I and I think it's a personal choice, and most of the ones I see who celebrate Kwanzaa, and I don't celebrate in my gates, you're not going to find a menorah. I'm not a religious ras. Yes, you hear I defend Haile Selassie, the Bible, these things through the teachings of His Majesty. That's really where my things rest personally. But again, this is the question: is do Rastafari celebrate Kwanzaa? And I'm answering that. That answer is a personal answer. What I want to do though is look at the 7 principles, because for the building of Zion, the Nguzo Saba, I think it's critical, you know what I mean, in terms of highlighting these 7 principles, living these 7 principles. There's no other way forward than these 7 principles. So, and I want to align it with His Imperial Majesty so we can know, because the important thing to I is not the observing Kwanzaa or celebrating Kwanzaa. I think we get caught up in holidays, and at the end of the day it becomes just a consumer experience, and we kind of lose the focus of what the day is supposed to be or the days are supposed to be. One of the things that I enjoy about Kwanzaa is that it's a time where all of the different people come together regardless of religion. And let me say this, I saw a clip of Judge Joe Brown talking about Ron Karenga, call him a CIA operative, that he was being paid to disrupt the Black Power movement. This is the allegation of Judge Joe Brown, and saying that one of the things that they were doing, why they created Kwanzaa, was to have the people come together so they could take notes about their plans, what they were planning to do, that they could relay it back to their superiors. So, for a lot of people who are, in that Black Power movement and know Ron Karenga, they just burn out Kwanzaa. But at the same time, there's no alternative that's bringing the people together. The Nguzo Saba. Remember, these principles are not created by the CIA. We may have assembled them as a ploy, if we believe the allegations, to get the people to come together. But there's a reason why they resonated with the people. And again, because regardless of your faith, these 7 principles run true. So really, they just did some work for the community. The Most High reigns over each and every one on the planet. So sometimes use the wicked to do His work. So you have to look at it from that perspective as well. Because at the end of the day, the principles cannot be corrupted. You can corrupt yourself, and as we see to this day, people burn out Ron Karenga. So he sealed his trad within the history books. However, the principles that come out still are going to come out shining, because again, these are truly Pan-African principles. Celebrating the harvest or the first fruits is something that, again, across culture, all of these things were, if we believe the allegation, they were designed to cast the widest net of the Black community or the diaspora community. And if we look at the good, these are principles, again, that empower the entire community. So it doesn't matter if you're Nation of Islam, if you're Igbo Israelite, if you're Christian, if you are whatever you are, because unity is the accepted goal. As Rastafari, we are part of the unity. We are not here to divide from the people. That was never the mission. We separate from the people in terms of our liberty, meaning that we're not going to do what them do. We're not going to live how them live. Big up Warrior King. Him say we're not going to do what pagan do and these kind of things. That is part of we liberty, how we hold it. But we have that perfect love to build bridges with all people, all faiths, all creeds that are seeking after righteousness, that are seeking after the good. That is Rastafari life and example. This is why we speak with authority, because we follow His Imperial Majesty and the divine teaching. And I notice as we grow, the channel and the platform grows, we're getting more comments. I'm starting to see a little bit of pushback, a little bit of fire burning ones come and say, Ras, you can't tell people who are Rastafari and this and that. This is not a religion, and boom, talking about the Bible and talking about, we just released the Rastafari Celebrate Christmas and some of these other episodes, and we're seeing some of those comments. And to those comments, the only thing I would say is that Rastafari is not a religion, but Rastafari does have a standard, and the standard is demonstrated through the teachings and through the liberty, the life lived by His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I. So we can feel confident to say that once it's outside of that realm, of the teachings and the levity. How can now we say that this is Rastafari? We can say it's African, Pan-African. And like I said, nothing no wrong with a man who is a African nationalist. If you don't deal with His Majesty, then just don't deal with His Majesty. But you cannot come and say that Rastafari different than His Majesty. I cite that, you know what I mean? So that is it. And for us to progress forward, again, you know, we big up the Asians here on this platform. We've done a lot of work to preserve and to help protect the Asians. And we're going to be doing some fundraising for Mama Fire. I'll have more details shortly, so stay tuned for that. Our Asians in Jamaica. We have some other Asians that are in need. We're going to be mobilizing Lion Pride to give some strength to some of these Asians. But these Asians, remember, many died in poverty. Many didn't see the realization, broken families, a lot of tragedy. These were survivors. These were them that went through great tribulation. I and I, as the generation that seek face of the Most High, is not to come and to emulate the Asians or say that they had the ultimate definition of what Rastafari is. Our job is to follow the teaching. I'd be a liar if I said Haile Selassie I ever fail I. Following his teaching, following his word, following his example. And as a father, you know what I mean, as a adult within the movement, it's my duty to ensure that those coming after I get the proper teaching. Not from I, because of the Dejazmatch KWASI, but from His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I the First. He is the leader of the movement, unapologetic, unquestioned, and we have to return Haile Selassie to primacy, and you're going to see the progress that is made. You're going to see the prosperity that is achieved. You're going to see the glory. The golden era of Rastafari is upon us and is unfolding, and it's because the youth them are cleaving to the teachings. You know, they say, give us the teachings of His Majesty. We don't want no devil philosophy. So the youth them are cleaving to His Majesty. This is why this channel is growing so rapidly. Big up the Lion Pride. Big up the ones them around the globe making this fastest growing Rastafari channel on YouTube. You know what I mean? We give thanks. You know, we're not at 1,000 strong anymore. A little less, but we are moving at a rapid speed, you know. So I really give thanks to the global family. And I say again that the principles of Kwanzaa are something that we want to amplify and use as a bridge to form a relationship with our other Pan-African family. We are not isolationists on this platform, and in the new year, the Roman calendar new year, we're going to be bringing more Pan-African voices on the platform that are ones who are not treading Rastafari, but they are for a united Africa. They are for the upliftment of black people and positive enrichment. We're going to be bringing a lot more of those voices on the platform, so stay tuned for that. As you know, Habesha is a Pan-African organization. It's not just Rastafari people. So this is part of I and I Live. This is part of Rastafari. As the founder of Africa, the founding father of Africa, I'm the first chairman of the OAU, Haile Selassie the First. So this is part of our purpose, our mission. So that being said, before we get into we're going to look at the 7 principles and how they align with His Majesty teachings down into the episode. Before we get into that, let us big up the Lion Pride. We have passed 18,000 on the Lion Pride platform. We're racing toward 20,000. I'm going to be dropping a special episode for the 20,000 episode, the same like we did with Muta Baruka. For the 10,000 episode, we're going to drop a special episode one time, not in clips. We'll drop the clips after, like we do with the motor. But one time we drop special episode as a a pre-love, and we're gonna also do a live episode where the Lion Pride feature that everyone get a chance to come up and we just reason. If you didn't see the first one we did, it was so idolful. My sister from Reunion Island, Colleen, and we had a idolful time. We had ones calling from all over. So we're gonna do that again for 20,000. And we'll do that every time we hit the 10 and next 10,000. We'll do these things. It's appearing that we're not gonna meet our goal of 100 people in the Patreon. This has been one of the most difficult challenges. I'm gonna have to revamp the whole Patreon. Big up Van Rick Pope, one of our Lion Pride and Patreon, who upgraded from the mission supporter, which is the entry level, to the $10 a month level. Big up yourself, Van Rick. Really give thanks for the support. Even though we didn't hit the goal, or it doesn't look like we're gonna hit, because Wednesday is New Year's Day. 75 people in the Patreon by Wednesday. It could happen on this episode alone. 75 of my core supporters. End of the year, we drop some lava on the wicked and just come in together. But it's sticky, for that to happen. So I still give thanks for the 25 people who are with us right now in terms of the paid subscriptions to Patreon. We fluctuate between 24, 26. Things happen and we overstand that. But again, I give thanks. I really appreciate love this year. Ending of the Roman calendar year has been a journey. We started the year and exploded. The channel really started its growth. So this year will be one of those years in the history of the platform that we return to and we look to as one of those milestones in the uprising of the Lion Pride, of the whole family and the energy. And Van Rick, big up yourself. That is emblematic of our Lion Pride and Patreon. They're really with I. So even though they don't come rapid, once they come in, I really give thanks to ones who come in, really stick with I, and month after month, driving this economic engine, because they realize that without the economics, the platform will not survive, and we need to ramp it up. Again, I want to be full-time, being able to just focus on the platform so we can, because we need a robust, professional, top-level Rastafari media operation, multimedia operation, creating that top-tier Rastafari content. We're in that age, and someone have to deal with it. And I think I'm uniquely possess the skill sets and the contacts and the networks to execute at a high level. However, I don't want to depend on the sponsors. I keep saying that. And, the audience is the key. So my family, the ones who are with I, and I know there are many, join us in the Patreon today. Don't wait. Make we end the year strong. Make we double at least 50%, of the goal by January 1st. So make we just do a final push. Me know some people are last minute people still, So just give us a last boost and take us over that mark, please. I have to do an episode about facing failure. I promise that. So I'm starting to prepare. I don't look like we're going to meet the goal. But that doesn't mean we're not going to press gas, family. We have a lot of interviews recorded, ready in the chamber for release this year. We are going to press gas. It's going to be something to behold. never before seen in the annals of Rastafari family. So that's where we are. Big up the Ubuntu Lion Pride. Big up the Myers family, our latest addition, the Good Bridging family, Bingy Sean, the Wolf family joining. This is a great way for families to show their support for the platform. One-time contribution over $50. That's going to raise to $70 after January 1st. Between now and Wednesday, it will be $50 to be a part of the Ubuntu Lion Pride. After January 1st, it will jump to $70. We know our value, and the platform is growing. We're going to hit 20,000 mid-January most likely, and then from there we're getting ready to implement some new things. We're going to be launching a new show in the new year. We're going to be bringing forward some more shows like Lion Love, Lion Law, all of these different platforms going to be coming forward. We have a new show, the Creative Culture Show, where we're going to be just focusing on the creative industry, interviewing people in the creative industry. The item I do creative industry consultation. So, that's part of my passion, is the creative industry, helping creatives to structure their business, think about what they're doing, create their ecosystem to monetize. Because right now we're in the era where we neglected economics so long. Yes, we're creative, yes, we're spiritual people, but we have to balance, His Majesty said that. So we have to be obedient to the economic development side. So I'm going to have a whole show where that's going to bring on experts in the creative industry, from lawyers to entertainment lawyers to publicists to you name it. I have an extensive network from doing the Jamaica Music Conference and just being a creative industry attorney. So we're going to start bringing some of those voices in a whole new show, Creative Culture. So stay tuned for that in the new Roman New Year. Again, Lion Love, we're going to talk about relationships, and Lion Law, where we talk about legal matters relating to the creative industry. All of them are going to come forward. So this is why we need your support for the programming. This is Woolly. But yes, big up those who cannot support financially, but are the heart and soul of the platform, the Action Lion Pride. Those who are they are commenting, they are sharing. The comments have really turned up in the last few days, the last few strongs, and I love it. You know what I mean? So keep the comments coming, positive. You disagree, as long as you're respectful, you're welcome. This is not a yes man factory. Feel free. We want high level. That's the only thing. We want high level reasoning. So if you come and you say, Ras, boy, you don't talk sense. A lot of time I'm just gonna say, what's your source? Let's build a framework. I mean, opinion. Yes, everyone can have their opinion. My primary sources is Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie the First. So when you're a Ras and you come in, come with something that we can reason. If you're opposing, if you just love the platform, we want to hear from the item too. We want the Lion Pride check-in from different countries too. So let us know what country you're checking in from in the comments. I'm not seeing anyone from Libya, but I keep seeing Libya in my top 5 countries, and I've yet to see someone tune in and say, yeah man, watching from Tripoli or whatever. I don't know what's happening in Libya, but Libya won't leave the top 5 countries on the platform. So Libya family, let me see some love, please, in the comments. We need it. Also, the Watch and Peep, we have done over 30,000 views for the last 28 days. So big up, over 29,000 unique viewers. So for anyone, that is a tremendous audience. as I said, I stopped calling this a small channel now. We are an emerging, a flowering channel. But just know that we're touching 30,000, call it 30,000 people, close to 30,000, because we're just a few hundred away from 30,000 unique viewers. Every month is amazing just to think about that. So, all of the watchers, big up yourself. Um, all of the watchers in the Lion Pride, because we have watchers who are just general watchers, and then we have the watchers in the Lion Pride. They're subscribed, but they just watch. And big up the item, same way. Big up the peoples them too. Them just want to see if we pop down. Every time they come to the platform, we jump. You know what I mean? The numbers them up. So, one peep, you know what I mean? You're witnessing history unfolding. You're witnessing the Rastafari family. Because remember, when you see it's not just I'm rooted in this community. You know what I mean? So when you see I bring on guests, these are family members more time. You know what I mean? People I've known 10 year, 20 year. You know what I mean? So these are people that mean a lot to a lot of them. So this is a family uprising, and they are supporting the uprising as well, sharing. I get the calls, connecting people left, right. So this is also the Rastafari nation emerging in real time. And now we have a platform because I am of the community. I'm a product of the community. I was shaped by my elders. You see us doing the programming about Ras Iris. You've seen Nana Faraika on the platform, others. These are ones who shape. I don't just appear from a void. You know what I mean? We have legacy and lineage in the levity. So it's a joy to be here. So people, go and Pete, all of the family. Big up Ras LIDJ. Reason with Ras LIDJ. He connected with someone on the platform. This is such a joy. Ramia King Design. Make sure you support. Spend some money with the Ras. The Ras has been supporting the platform from early. Spend some money with the Ras. Get yourself a tumbler. Send me a picture. You know what I mean? When you buy your product, and we'll put it up on the show. Because we want to show the globe that the dollar is circulating, that the Lion Pride is active. So if you're part of the Lion Pride, and maybe you haven't joined the Patreon, please spend some money with Ras LIDJ and send me a picture. Big up CMOS Life, greatest CMOS drink on the planet. Big up yourself, Ras Woldy. Massive respect. Alright, so let's look at the Nguzo Saba and if they relate or how they relate, because we're not even go if, because they do, how they relate to His Majesty teaching. So the first of the 7 principles is Umoja, which is unity. And the principles is described as to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. So this is what the Kwanzaa principle is. We have a Haile Selassie quote that says, so we start with unity, Umoja, and we go to the unity and brotherhood section of the Wise Mind, and it says, wherever there is African blood, there is a basis for greater unity. The example of the developed countries amply proves the truth of the proverb, unity is strength. Our greatest asset is our unity, and we must exploit it to its fullest. The people of a country who have fought incessantly for their independence understand that unity is the foundation of liberty. So I think that's enough to show His Majesty's stance on unity, which is the first principle. I see. So these are His Majesty quotes to defend that. Kuji Chakalia, self-determination, to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. And there are so many quotes of His Majesty that we could read for that one. The second principle is Kuji Chakalia, self-determination. For that, we go to the section of the wise man on independence. And His Majesty says, this world was not created piecemeal. Africa was born no later and no earlier than any other geographical area on the globe. Africans no more or no less than other men possess all the human attributes, talents, and deficiencies, virtues, and faults. Africa has been reborn as a free continent, and Africans have been reborn as free men. The blood that was shed, the sufferings that were endured are today's Africa's advocates for freedom and unity. Since freedom is an issue upon which the national existence itself depends, it becomes a sacred obligation of primary importance for a people of one family united in their own common life and in oneness of mind and spirit to preserve their free and pleasant way of life from all external danger and thus being able to advance along the path of progress. And I do one more because self-determination was so much in His Majesty's teachings. His Majesty said the glories and advantages of freedom cannot be purchased with all the world's material wealth. Look there. Freedom's price is the sacrifice of lives of innumerable heroes. And in deep realization of this, it becomes a duty of freemen everywhere to be ever prepared for the defense of their freedom. All right, so Koji Chakalia. I think that's the whole selected speeches talks about the importance of Ethiopia's independence and how Ethiopia's fought to preserve their independence. So Kuji Chakalia definitely. Ujima, to build and maintain our community together and to make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems and solve them together. So collective work, His Majesty coined the term collective security on the international scene. So that goes without saying. There is neither shame nor disgrace in a day's work well and truly done. Whatever the task and whatever the rank or status of the worker, the farmer and the laborer who have toiled diligently throughout the day have earned their bread and honest sleep. But the man, whatever his rank, who has spent his time in idleness, whose hand has been turned to little of profit or value during his working hours, has earned only the scorn and disdain of his fellow men, whom he has cheated. Have not those many nations which today are called advanced become so through the toil and labor of their peoples? It is easy to begin, but hard to finish. A mature mind and a wealth of experience are needed to decide upon the time and place where strength and skill may be the most effectively combined. Strength may be useless where skill is required. So that's the collective work and responsibility. And that's what we are really pushing on this platform. Number 4, Ujama, cooperative economics. To build and maintain our own stores, shops, and businesses and profit from them together. So you see these principles, family, even though Ran Karenga might be a beast or whatever he is, or whether he get corrupted, and maybe he started, like many of our leaders with ideals and got corrupted down the way, or maybe he was framed. I mean, there's so many possibilities. He's compromised. But you can see from these principles, the principles are solid. They are things that need to be highlighted in our community. And His Majesty talked about cooperative economics. Next we have Ujama, which is cooperative economics. From that I'm going to read from the development section of the Wise Mind. His Majesty says, let us not be too proud to face, honestly and frankly, the fact that by the standards of the modern world, the African peoples today are poor. Our poverty need not cover us with shame, but just as we must not be too proud to recognize the facts of Africa's economic situation as it exists today, so we must not be cast down or discouraged by the magnitude of the problems which face us. For Africa is potentially rich, and this applies to Rastafari and Rastafari culture, people, intellectual property, the whole gambit. Our task is to improve the economic lot of all African peoples, to raise them to a standard of living comparable to that enjoyed in the most highly developed regions of the world today. This task and a challenge which must be met, and because this touches all of us, all must labor and work for the success in this endeavor. The ultimate resource of a nation is its people. Unless this resource is employed for the benefit of the nation, unless the latent good which it represents is exploited to the maximum extent for the common good, the nation will languish poor in spirit, lacking in achievement. So, the last thing I'll say around cooperative economics is he says, the means of destroying poverty and ignorance are education and work. Kadamawi, Haile Selassie the first. So when we try to build our individual wealth, it's not just for ourselves, it's for the nation, because a chain is as strong as its weakest link. And this is how we have to rethink unity, because in Rastafari we're taught that the wealth is together, and if a man is trying to better himself economically, a lot of time he's getting burned out for looking for money and things like that. But no, this is not a poverty trad. That's a false concept. That's a demonic concept, I would even go as far as to say, to try to cast I and I into an impoverished state, or say, because we are earning revenue from our labor. So there are a lot of false concepts that have crept in to the livity that have to be addressed. But cooperative economics, you hear, that's something I push on this platform all the time. The crowdfunding model, the subscription model, whatever you want to look at it, it's based on cooperative economics. Not trying to get huge sums of money from a few companies, and therefore you aggregate the power in a few hands. But we get a little bit from many. Many hands make light work. So getting the $5 to $10 from many people as an economic base, as opposed to just depending on one or two. That's how you avoid the sellout, because you're accountable to the many. This is cooperative economics. Again, these are principles that are fundamental to the building of Zion. Then we have Nia, purpose. Remember, it's I say purpose over that something there. Remember, say I said that, one of the most key things for every brethren and every sister, brethren in particular, because I'm a brethren, is to identify your purpose early and to pursue it. This is part of the Rastafari man standard. It's explicitly outlined by His Majesty in that speech. Once a man knows his purpose and knows that his purpose is something that will make the world a better place, XYZ. This is crucial. So purpose Nia is critical. For Nia, I'll go to advise the students. His Majesty advise the students, let me know if the item agree. His Majesty said, the opportunity for education is not given for a fashion or a mode. It is given for a purpose, for a task, for a high responsibility, for the benefit of our country and the coming generation. Again, anything that you choose as your purpose should benefit the country, coming generations. How does this make the world a better place? this unique ability in the thing that you're passionate about. Purpose key. The person who, even while at school, realizes the needs of his country and has a proper sense of values and urgency will see what is needed and will be able to fill it. Same way in search of purpose. This is the number one goal of every brethren and sister. Identify your purpose. Education is not an end in itself, but an aid to assist you to distinguish between good and evil, between the harmful and the useful. Again, this is why it's important. Remember, when His Majesty was asked about those considering Christ for the first time, we just had that in the Christmas episode, he said, what? Seek secular knowledge as well. So in nothing you do you lock off to just one stream of thought. You seek the knowledge. This is going to help you to identify your purpose. The more you're exposed to, the better you'll be able to narrow down what really connects with your soul. Then we have Kawumba, which is creativity. Of course, His Majesty was a patron of the arts, built theaters in Ethiopia, supported the arts. We talk about that with the Association of Rastafari Creatives. EmpressMenen as well was a patron of the arts. And you know, there's a famous speech of His Majesty talking to the fine arts school about the you know, that we must seek beauty and not just things for utility. You know, beauty enriches the soul. You know, when you create things that are beautiful and are not just for the utilitarian, you know, just the utility of the thing. So creativity is part of Rastafari tradition. For Kawumba or creativity, we have to take a pause from the wise mind and we go to the selected speeches. His Majesty's speech to the fine arts, one of his few addresses specifically to the creative industry. You know, I'm a creative industry consultant, entertainment or creative industry attorney, so I'm very passionate about this era, and His Majesty gives us guidance. He says, a purely materialistic art would be like a tree which is expected to bear fruit without flowering, and to sacrifice grace and beauty for mere utility. Those who learn here should from the beginning assiduously avoid the spirit of utilitarianism. Our admiration for the Creator's handiwork should not be limited to those things He has provided us for our daily needs, but should include all that is good and beautiful. It is these tender feelings of deep and silent admiration evoked from our hearts by the beauties of creation that should find adequate expression in the fine arts. That's July 23rd, 1958. So he said that on his Earth Strong to the School of Fine Arts to show you the importance of Kawumba. So again, these are all consistent. And then finally, we have Imani, which is faith. And of course, Haile Selassie the first is the defender of the faith. So finally, we have Imani, our faith, and we go to Wise Mind section on religion, starts on page 38. His Majesty says, God's reasoning differs from that of man. It is only when a people strike an even balance between scientific progress and spiritual and moral advancement that it can be said to possess a wholly perfect and complete personality. It is only when human mind is guided by religion and morality that man can acquire the necessary vision to put all in his ingenious inventions and contributions to really useful and beneficial purposes. Progress without religion is just like a life surrounded by unknown perils and can be compared to a body without a soul. Discipline of the mind is the basic ingredient of general morality and therefore spiritual strength. Discipline of the mind. So very key. And very important that His Majesty was not anti-religion. He was tolerant of all religions, but the importance of religion for most of humanity is structure. Man does not do well without structure. This is why you hear I burn out the loosey-goosey. However, this does not confine us to the religion of the Orthodox Dalaido. As I said, His Majesty teaching transcend Taloido. Taloido, Tawahido Church was one of the biggest opposition to some of the reforms His Majesty brought into Ethiopia, but it was for the greater good. So we follow His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I, not the constraints of the religion of the church, as Rastafari, which is why we're called by his name, the same way that Yeshua, Jesus Christus, was not confined by the constraints of Orthodox Judaism, although he said, I did not come to break the law, I come to fulfill it. So he was consistent. He was not anti-religion either. But the levity, the way of life, remember that the 10 Commandments is a way of life enshrined on tablets. The levity is sacred. The levity is what elevates Israel, the Israelites, children of the Most High above all the nations of the earth, is your way of life. The levity that Christ's tradition, the anointed tradition. So His Majesty is not anti-religion. Aina is not anti-religion. Aina is defender of the faith. But we are not confined by religion to the powers. Haile Selassie I. All of these principles are in line with Rastafari teachings. You know what I mean? So, again, the Nguzo Saba is part of our levity. Whether or not Rastafari celebrate Kwanzaa, the holiday, is to I a personal choice. Again, I say I don't put up a candle in my house. You now go find corn out on table and gifts and all them something there. But I will go a Kwanzaa event, my youth then participate in Kwanzaa performance. You know, we are here exemplifying the goodness of the principles and them thing there. In all my life, going to Kwanzaa here in Washington DC area, I never hear them talk about Ran Karinga. I know that most of the Pan-Africanists here in DC know about the allegations. Serious, you know, assault against women, all kind of things which he served time. You know, serious allegations, you know, sellout, CIA operative, all of these allegations against the brother. You know, most of the elders here in the Pan-African community are fully aware, but again, they focus on the Nguzo Saba and these things that have application across faith, religion, tribe. But these are truly African principles and Pan-African principles that were gathered by the brethren Ran Karinga and presented to the family. And now that they have been presented, it's like you can't take it back. It go into the hearts of the people, hearts of the youth, them, and good things have come out of it. And it's taken on a life of its own, irrespective of the reason it was founded or irrespective of the founder. So, what do the item think that I know? Do the item celebrate Kwanzaa as Rastafari, as Pan-African family? Should Kwanzaa go in the trash bin? Or can we utilize these principles? Do we need to reorganize Kwanzaa, rebrand it, take it out of Ran Karinga concept and create a new manifestation to get the stain off of it? What do the item think about Kwanzaa? Let's have the reasoning in the comments. Big up the Lion Pride, big up everyone. Again, we are still to the last. We fight to the last. We're not gonna stop. We're not gonna stop. Fight to the last. Join the Patreon. 100 people by January 1st. Can we do 75 by Wednesday? It's sticky, family. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a realist. I have faith and I'm ideal. You know, I have that idealist side, but I'm also a realist, a little sticky. But that don't mean say we're not gonna fight until final moment, or we're not gonna give the effort. And big up everyone who, you know, the views, everything on the works have been tremendous. You know, we hit over 5,000 views in 48 hours for the first time on the channel. We keep on having milestones that are showing that the growth and that the thing is soaking in. However, again, we need to build the economic core so that we can be confident, or that we can remain confident that we can grow to the full vision. This is just phase one. This is just a surface of what we have planned for the Lion Voice Network. And the stronger we are as a network, the stronger we will be as a people. Rastafari Independent Non-Aligned Media is here. Not just I. There are many more platforms. If you don't support I, support all of the other Rastafari content creators on YouTube, across the web, Rastafari TV, big up all of the Rastafari ones in the space. You can't too much. Look how much garbage Babylon have out there. So we need all of the different perspectives and the different viewpoints. We need more young people to join the Rastafari Independent Non-Aligned Media space same way. And we're going to just continue to grow. So again, I give thanks. But to the Lion Pride, join the Patreon. Let us make a statement to end the year strong. To the 25 who are with I, you don't know Kadamari Haile Selassie the first. I really give thanks for the item. Strengthen I heart. To the 75 soon forward, we are waiting patiently. Why? Because the time has come for the Lions to tell our own story. And this is the Lion's Voice.
Lion Voice. Yeah, go up on North Road. Haile Selassie the first. Children. Well, you're gonna do two things when you hear this song. You either gonna move or you gonna leave. You have to move. Either way you gonna bounce or you have to rest. You have to bounce. I tell them bounce, I tell them bounce, tell them bounce. Can't buy my soul for no bank account. I tell them bounce, I tell them bounce, tell them bounce. Blessings where we got too much they can't count. Would you sell your people poison to make a dime? If you knew that they were dying, would you change your mind? Would you embrace crime? Would you risk life in a cage? Or would you even care as long as you got paid? You never been a slave, still you slave for the cash. If the price was right, you woulda sell your ass. Far as I can see, you don't know your past. You just a follow dirty Babylon till Babylon crash. Tell them bounce, I tell them bounce, tell them bounce. Can't buy my soul for no bank account. I tell them bounce, I tell them bounce, tell them bounce. Blessings where we got too much, you can't count. Tell them bounce, I tell them bounce, tell them bounce. Work hard for my money, work for large amounts. I tell them bounce, I tell them bounce, tell them bounce. Blessings where we got too much, they can't count. Would you put on a dress? Would you put on a blouse? Would you do anything just to move the crowd? Would you take off your clothes? Would you spread out and pose just to get some diamond and some gold? Would you call your people nigger, then ask them to wave? If your people were in trouble, then how would you behave? If the beast came out the cave and started to rage, would you be afraid? Or would you tell them bounce?